GM everyone. In this video we're going to be looking at how to create a Telegram bot that sends updates of on-chain activity on Solana. And to do this we're going to be breaking this down into 3 steps. So we're going to be creating a Telegram bot, then we're going to be creating and deploying a Cloudflare worker to act as a sort of middleman, and then we're going to be creating a Helius webhook that allows you to track any on-chain activity that you'd like. So this is really great if you want to get updates on activities around a certain NFT collection, or if you want to track a specific wallet or a group of wallets and get those updates sent directly to you via a Telegram chat, or have a channel set up so that a lot of people can get these updates. You can think of it, you could potentially make a sales bot that allows a lot of people to join the channel and see updates for a collection whenever those NFTs are sold, whenever there's bids, or any other sort of on-chain activity. So like I mentioned, this is going to be in 3 parts. To start off, we are going to be looking at creating the Telegram bot and setting up a channel for that bot to send its updates to. This video is based on a blog post on the Helius website that essentially covers everything we're going to go over today. And if you would like to get a link to the code, all of that will be in the blog post, as well as any other links or websites that are used. That blog will be linked in the description of this video. So now the first step in this process is going to be creating the Telegram bot that's going to send updates, and then we're also going to create a Telegram channel that the bot can send updates into so that other people can join and receive those updates. So the first step, we just want to open up Telegram and then look for the account called BotFather, and there'll be a link to this account in the blog post, which will be linked in the description. But yeah, once you've got it, you just want to start a chat with that account, and then from there it'll prompt you with a bunch of options. We just want to create a new bot. Now we just need to name the bot. So this is going to be video Helius bot. We just need to give it a username. Now once that's all set up, we're going to have a link to the actual bot, and then we're also going to be given the access token that we can use in the Telegram API. So we'll use this to then send actual messages through the bot. Now make sure not to share this with anyone, because if someone has access to this code or has this code, then they can send messages via your bot, which could be potentially harmful. So now we are going to want to set up a channel that the bot can actually send updates through. So we're just going to create a new channel. So we're just going to say Helius video updates. Then once that is set up, we are going to just want to add the bot to that channel. So we're going to keep this public. I'm not sure why this is not letting me create a public chat. But let's keep it private. So now we've got a private channel set up. We're just going to want to go into the settings and add an administrator, which will be the bot. So we just want to now add an admin. So this is going to be video Helius bot, the one we just created, and we're just going to give it all access and add it. So right now there's just 2 people in this chat, and we can just send a quick message to the channel. So now that is all set up, we are going to want to get the chat ID for this channel, and that's where we're going to be sending updates to. So to do that, we just need to head to this link. You can find this link in the blog post. So you're going to want to go to this link and just replace your bot token with the access token that was given to you by BotFather. And from this, we will be able to get updates we'll be able to see all the activity in different channels. So now over here we can just send a message to get an update of that bot. So now we just sent a message saying test 1, 2. So now we can just look for where we sent this message. So it's at the bottom here, and now we're going to look for the chat ID. So that we can find over here. So you can just grab the chat ID, and then we also just want to store that chat ID for use later on in the video. Cool. So now the next step is going to be creating a Cloudflare worker. We've also now got the bot ID and the chat ID for the channel. We can go into setting up the Cloudflare worker. So this worker is just going to act as a middleman. So the Helius, A Webhook, is going to send updates when certain on-chain events happen, and it's going to send those updates to our worker, and then the worker is going to then take those updates and make a call via the Telegram API to send a message via the bot that we just set up. So to do this, we're just going to head to cloudflare.com. If you've got an account, you can log in. If you don't, you can create one. It's free. Then once we are logged in, we can head to the workers page, and from here we can create a new application and then create a worker. We're just going to call ours Helius. I will just say test Helius worker. So once we've got that sorted, we are just going to deploy that, and then we're going to want to go and edit the code. So there's just some starter code in here that we are going to remove. We're going to add our own code. So in the blog post that accompanies this video, there will be the full code, so you can head to the link that's in the description and go to the blog post and copy that code, and then you can just paste that in here. And this code is essentially just some code that'll be able to handle tracking sort of NFT collection updates. So if you want to create a sales bot or a listing bot, bidding bot, any of those things, or if you want to track wallet activity. So, you put in a couple of wallets, and then whenever that wallet performs a transaction, then you get sent, the update gets sent via the Telegram bot. So this is just code for that. And then you will see that there are a few variables at the top of the code that we are just going to have to make sure we set up. So you can see that we are going to be using a Helius RPC. This is just so that if we are tracking NFTs, we can get more information about those NFTs. So if a sale happens for a specific NFT and we want to get the image, we're going to be using the DAS get asset method to allow us to get the metadata. We're going to be using Helius for that. To learn more about the DAS API, you can just head to the Helius docs, which will also be linked below, but that's a bit out of scope for the video. So now you'll see we're going to have to just get our bot token, our chat ID, and then our API key. Now to get an API key, you can just head a Helius API key. You can head to dev.helius.xyz, connect your wallet, and then you can create a free account, and then you can make use of the RPC through that account. So you're just going to want to head to your API key and then copy that. Now, just for some extra security, we're going to be saving these variables inside as environment variables on our worker. So now we're going to head to settings and then go to variables, and you'll see there's no variables, so we're just going to add a variable for API key. And then we're also going to want to add one for bot token. Now this token was the token that Botfather sent when we created the initial bot. And then the final thing is the chat ID, which we went and got from the Telegram API. That's not the right place, so that's going to be chat ID. And then we are just going to want to save and deploy that. So now we've got those three variables, and we can head back to our code. So we'll just head back to quick edit. Okay, it looks like our code didn't save, but that's okay. I'm just going to head back and copy that code from the blog post, and here we go. But now we've got all the environment variables set up, so this should be good to go. I just want to save this. Okay. I was running into a few errors and I just noticed why. So when setting out the environment variables, make sure to add a little dash or minus sign in front of the chat ID. So if it's a group chat such as a channel, it should have that. If your bot is just, if you directly interacting with your bot through a normal channel, then you won't need that. But since it's a channel, we do need that. So just update that and then that should be all good. Okay, there we go. So now this is saved, which is great. So now we can go into actually setting up the Helius webhook that is going to send updates to this worker code. So now that we have the Cloudflare worker set up, we can look at creating a webhook with Helius to track on-chain activities. So to do this, we're going to want to head to dev.helius.xyz and then just go to the webhooks tab and then create a new webhook. So our webhook, we're going to be tracking mainnet transactions, activity, and then we can choose between a bunch of different webhook types. So we're just going to use enhanced, and essentially what that is that Helius categorizes a bunch of different transaction types so that we can track those specific transaction types. So example of this, you've got NFT bids, NFT sales, you've got loans, staking sold, but we're just going to be tracking any transaction. And then we're going to need to put in our webhook URL. So this is the URL that points towards our deployed our deployed Cloudflare worker. So to do that, to find that, you can just head to back to Cloudflare, head to the preview tab, and then just copy the link that is listed there, and we can paste that into the webhook URL field. You can also add an authentication header if you want some more security. We're not going to bother with that in just this tutorial. And then we're just going to have to provide an account address to track. So I'm just going to paste in the wallet I've got connected. So essentially, whenever a transaction happens, that involves this account or this address, it will then trigger the webhook. Now, if you want to track, let's say, an NFT collection and all the NFTs in that collection, you're just going to have to add each of the NFTs mint addresses to the webhook. Now, Helius allows for up to 100,000 addresses to be added to a single webhook, but obviously doing that manually is going to take some time. So later in the video, we're just going to look at how to do that with the Helius SDK. So once that is, we've got all our stuff in here, we can just confirm and create our webhook. And now you see we've got all of that set up. So now that we have the Helius webhook set up, there should be, if a transaction happens with that wallet, then that webhook will send an update to your Cloudflare worker, and then the Cloudflare worker will actually relay that message to Telegram. So we're actually able to just test this out if we wanted to. So I'm just going to bring over the Telegram chat with that channel, and then we can quickly test it out. So Cloudflare offers a way that we can make post requests to the deployed worker. So this is how the webhook will send updates. It'll make a post request to the Cloudflare worker, or to the URL that we provided. So we just need to provide it with some test sort of data in the same format that the Helius webhooks send data. So when a transaction happens, it happens in a format, or the Helius webhook returns data in a format such as this. So just for testing purposes, I'm going to just copy that, paste it into the body of our post request, and then send that request off. And then, when we send that, we can see that a message is sent to the Telegram channel, and it just contains information sent on that transaction. So you can see this wallet transferred 1 USDC to this wallet, and provides a transaction, and you can customize pretty much how this message is laid out, all the data that's in it inside your Cloudflare worker code. So this is just how I've initially set it up. You can take whatever information you want from that request or from the data that the webhook sends to the worker, and then format it however you want inside this message. But now let's look at how we would update the webhook to include a list of NFT addresses, so that we can track collections, set up a type of sales bot through the Cloudflare worker. So now we are going to look at how we can track an entire NFT collection through our webhook. So there's 2 steps involved here. The one is going to be taking or getting a mint list of all the NFTs that are within the collection that we want to track. So for this example, I'm going to be looking at all the NFTs in the Transdimensional Fox Federation collection, and then we're going to be getting all the mint addresses for the NFTs in that collection, and then updating the webhook with all of those addresses, so that whenever a transaction happens that involves one of those NFTs, the update will be sent to the worker, which will then be sent to the Telegram bot. So like I mentioned, there's 2 steps to this. The one is the snapshot, and then the other part is using the Helius webhook endpoint to update the webhook with all of the new collection, the collection info, so the mint addresses. So to run the snapshot code, we are just going to copy over the code that is in the blog post, the snapshot.js code, create a new file in Visual Studio Code, and paste it in there. And then you're going to want to change the creator address to the address of the first verified creator in the collection you want to track. So just an example of that. Here is the fox, one of the foxes in the Transdimensional Fox collection, and we can just go and find the creators and then copy the first verified creator and just paste that into this little spot here, and then we'll be good to go. You'll also just need to make sure that you have pasted your API key into the RPC URL, because we'll be using the DAS get assets by creator method, and this does pretty much what it says. It gets all the assets from that creator. And now this code is set out to create a file, addresses.json, that will contain all of the mint addresses, and then we'll use that file when updating the webhook. So once you've added your API key and added your the creator address of the collection you want to track, then you can run node snapshot.js, which will run our code and then create that file. So now that it has completed, you'll see all the addresses are here, but then there'll also be a addresses.json file, which will contain all the NFT addresses. You can also use another tool, online tool, to get the all the mint addresses, but this is easiest for me. So now we move on to the webhook update code. So you can create a new file, a new JavaScript file called webhook update, and then you can copy over the code from the blog post. Just make sure that you edit the code so that you add in your API key, and then also just make sure that your webhook URL is correct. And then you can see here that we read in all the addresses from the addresses.json file that we just created, and we just want to now include that inside our webhook. So we can just put addresses there, and you can see here we are specifying the transaction types, because remember how earlier I explained that we're using enriched transactions. So these are the transaction types that we want to track. So this is just going to be for a listing and sales bot. And then once you've got all of that sorted, you just want to save that, and then you want to run the webhook update JS file, and then that will make a request or a call to the webhook's endpoint and update the webhook. You can see here there's a lot of addresses now, and a lot more that are part of that webhook. So now that that's been updated, we can head back to our Cloudflare worker, and we can edit the code. So I've commented out all of the code here that is used for NFT updates. So we can now comment that in, and now we can comment out the code just for just standard transactions. So now the message that is going to be sent to the Telegram bot is going to include more information, such as the image that of the NFT. Now it's important to edit the Cloudflare worker depending on what you are tracking, because different transaction types will send different types of data. So just look at what the webhook, what data the webhook is sending, and then make sure to pull whatever data you need from that, depending on what you want to send to the Telegram bot. So once you've made that change, you can just save and deploy the worker, and then we can just open up Telegram. So now if an update had to happen on chain, then so now if one of the NFTs in the Transdimensional Fox Federation collection was listed or was bought, then that would trigger the Helius webhook, which would then send data regarding that transaction to our Cloudflare worker, and then our Cloudflare worker will take that data and then turn it into a message and send that via the Telegram API, so that our bot can send an update message to this channel. Now obviously you'd have to just wait for a transaction to happen for it to be actually sent, but I'll include just a screenshot of what that update will look like when it does come through, so we don't sit here waiting for too long. So that is essentially how you can create a Telegram bot that tracks any on-chain activities using Cloudflare workers and then Helius webhooks. If you have any questions regarding this whole setup process or any other questions around Solana development, please feel free to join the Helius Discord and send a message there, or just reach out on Twitter and we will get back to you. Thanks for watching.